harrowing. This prison is harrowing. Agree to disagree. The heat is sweltering. Agree to disagree. Enough. Stop the bickering. Agree to disagree. The ingredients are rotting. Recipe disaster. Our chef has been divisive, and the food so evasive. This condition so oppressive. Our chef who worked in kitchen, give us this day our daily portion. We have a coalition. A coalition? A menu of reconciliation. A concoction of coalition. A menu of constipation. Taste the concoction. A concoction of constipation. Taste the coalition. A coalition of constipation. Taste, taste, taste. Flash your diet! Flash out the chef! Flash out the coalition! Flash out! Ours is a unity of ingredients. A little bit of modokoi in the mix. A little bit of gideri in the mix. Osuga nene chisaka in the mix. A menu of unity. Ours is not recipe disaster. It is a recipe to master. Another one from Ikuta Girls High School. See you.
We want to have a few of our guests giving us speaking. So I would want to welcome Capture.
I want to quote a word that was spoken by our former president, who used to say that siasa baya, maisha baya. But here in Kieni, we usually say elimu baya, maisha baya. And I also to quote Mr. Loke, who said that plants are developed by cultivation, but men are developed by education. And that is why, here in Kieni, because we don't have a cash club, we hold with a lot of esteem education, since we take education as our cash club in Kieni. Sir, Kieni is a semi-arid region with very hard climatic conditions, and we sincerely thank the Minister of Education for considering some schools to be in the homegrown school feeding program. We also appreciate efforts done by the provincial administration through our DB chairman, the DC, for he has always led a hand whenever relief food is available. This has arrested challenges in absenteeism, and sir, on behalf of the teachers, I am kindly requesting your office to look into this humble request of including the remaining other schools to be included in the school feeding program to save pupils from walking very long distance to those schools having the government-aided school feeding program. Capture is also credited with successful implementation of the free primary education that has turned real to those Thomases who could not believe during the inception of FPE. And Capture, being a professional body, will always and has always approached issues professionally. And turning to today's event, I wish to thank all the head teachers for playing part in making this ceremony a success. And I also want to appreciate those who are going to be awarded for their work which they did in last year's national exam. And on behalf of all members of Capture, I wish to congratulate those who will be decorated today, but I want to remind them that remaining a winner is a challenge. And to those who may not have been lucky today, to note that quality results for winning are worked for, and they don't just come. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to thank you all for honoring this occasion. At last, you will be a blessing to us, and may God bless you all.
Honorable Anoso Yaya, Council Director of Education, the TSC Director of Education, the District Education Officer, DEO, other district guests, good afternoon. In our district, sir, we have got 22 public secondary schools. We have also got 5 private secondary schools in our district. Our district is in a semi-arid in the leeward side of Mount Kenya. And due to this aridity, you find that there are a few income generating activities, and this has therefore resulted in a few challenges in our schools. This includes lack of enough infrastructure, such as, say, science laboratories, computer labs, administration offices, and libraries. When we look at the science laboratories, we find that in our district, most of our schools do not have science laboratories, and those that have, most of them have actually improvised. And also those who have laboratories, the laboratories are small, and since the enrollment is actually rising drastically, you find that most of the secondary schools require a second laboratory. As for computer laboratories, sir, we have got 3 schools in our district that have actually benefited through the government infrastructure funds for information technology, that is IT. Otherwise, in our district, there are very few schools that are offering computer studies. Also, sir, as far as administration offices are concerned, at least very few schools have got administration blocks. Though at the same time, our principals have done their best, tried their best, and at least they've improvised and they've got structure somewhere which they are calling offices. As for libraries, or rather library rooms, there are actually also very few schools that have got library rooms and with enough library books. So what we've done is that try to put out some structures here and there, which actually has acted as library rooms, but of course without books. But through the program of the government that whoever is getting money for tuition, we are trying actually to buy a few library books here and there, but actually they are not enough. So, sir, I'm trying to request you to assist our schools in our district so that they can be funded by the government, so that we can actually be able to provide the schools with the physical infrastructure. And I believe this will go ahead to promote our education standards in our district. Sir, on behalf of the principals, let me congratulate the Ministry of Education for its assistance to promote education standards in our district through the provision of funds and teachers. Sir, I can't also forget to congratulate our parents, Kenny, Constituency Development Fund, and other development partners who have provided schools with funds for physical development. Finally, principals and teachers have promised to work very hard so as to promote our education standards in our district and also the KCSE results in year 2012. So, just of honor, sir, thank you so much.
Our chief guest, Mr. Enos Oyaya, Acting Education Secretary, District Education Board members, distinguished guests, principals, and teachers, students and pupils, parents present, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me pleasure to welcome you all to our second District Education Day Prize Giving Day. Our chief guests, before I make my remarks, we have education partners, and please, if you are here with us, an education partner, can you just wave wherever you are in? Can you wave at our guests? Now, the first one, and a great supporter in this district, is the CDF, a chairman who is with us. Mr. Kangang is there, he's the chairman. We have a lot of support from Equity Bank, Equity Nanyuki, Equity Nyeri, the proprietor Graceland Girls. Is he around, Mr. Wachira? Yes. You are welcome. Mr. Wachira has given us some trophies, and also we work closely when I'm in need of a vehicle. Pioneer Insurance, Wananchi Sacco. He is the chairman He is the chairman, Nyeri Teacher Circle, and one of my third tutors, sir. We have KCB Nagmoro branch. Anybody representing the bank? They are there with us. Bwana Manager, you are there. We recognize your presence. Mount Kenya Teachers College, Bwana Wayenya, gave us a trophy. The NAT, another supportive body is actually Kenya National Union of Teachers, whereby the executive secretary, can you come and greet the congregation?
The guest of honor today, Mr. Eno Zoyaya, the acting education secretary, the representative of the Honorable MP Kieni, the chairman of the DEB here with us, the two county directors, DEOs, education officials, other guests invited, principals, head teachers, parents, students, and pupils, good afternoon. The Kenya National Union of Teachers is greatly appreciative of this opportunity to be party to today's activity, an activity that is an integral part of the education curriculum. I came with me two BEC members who are within the crowd, and because of time I may not be able to introduce them. The guest of honor today, this day has been set aside for a very special purpose. It is a day that has brought together all the education stakeholders in Kieni East here, where we are for an almost sacred purpose, one of both self-reflection and corporate re-evaluation. We have trooped here from every corner of this district, from the east and the west, the north and the south, to be here in one mind and in one spirit, to come because today is Kieni East Education Day. Today is a day that has been set aside for a celebration of sorts, a day to join the winners who have weathered the storms to emerge victorious on the podium, a day to exhort these winners and to remind them of the dangers of being complacent. It is easier to be number one than to remain number one. The world is already guarding itself to snatch the trophy from you. Like Jesus once said, guard jealously what God has given you. This can only be made possible by remaining relevant in this competitive world and by remaining faithful to your ideals, to your callings, and by relentlessly pursuing your dreams. To those among us who unfortunately were not able, though they tried so hard, to be on the winner's rostrum today, we urge you not to quit. Like someone once said, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you are trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, you want to smile, but you just have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but for heaven's sake, do not quit. We must keep fighting on. It's no time to quit, neither a time to give up. This then brings me to another cardinal reason why this day has been set aside. Today should be a day to reassess our commitment to our life's goals. Do we have goals in our lives? Are we committed to anything in our lives? Some wise man once said that when we don't know where we are going, any road will lead us there. We must have a destination to make it in life. It's a great tragedy to go through life without a destination, a purpose, or a dream to nudge you along. It's a greater tragedy even to go through this life like an accident waiting to happen somewhere. One preacher, Myles Monroe, once stood in a cemetery and shook his head in regret. While many saw dead men and women in the graves, all he could see and lament about were the great but unexploited dreams buried with the dead. Habakkuk 3:2 wrote, write your vision in bold letters, though it tarry, it shall surely come. Dreams must be lived to be realized. Let us live a life worth emulating. Our guest of honor, Kieni East, has and is an academic giant, which is made possible by the presence of hard-working teachers and a very supportive network of stakeholders like you have just seen. We are proud to be associated with those academic giants like Waditoga, the best KCP school, Getinga and Idereti, who have scored quite some good marks. These schools have continued to excel despite the odds against them. Kangangi Snowview, Gloryland and Slopes have excelled in the private schools category, and we recognize them. In the same breath, we would recognize these primary schools that have greatly improved, led by Baraka Sorio, Tigeti, and Gatei. We salute them. In the secondary schools category, we appreciate all the schools that have done well, and we wish the principals great success. The Kenya National Union of Teachers applauds this good work and urges the teachers and all stakeholders to keep focused. Please note that he who opens a school closes a prison door. Let us aim to better our best. Allow me to rebrand this day what nobody ever dares to do, and this is to rebrand today the Teacher Appreciation Day. This is a day that the Lord has made, that all the teachers should rejoice and be glad in it. This should be a day when Kieni East must appreciate the teacher who has against all odds worked selflessly like a candle that consumes itself to light the way for others. This should be a day when Kieni East comes together to give a standing ovation to an honorable teacher who has affected eternity and one who can't tell where his influence stops, one who has lightened the burden of others. Today is a day indeed to celebrate the teacher who is indeed wise and who does not bid you to enter the house of wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your mind. Yes, Kieni East, let us celebrate with Helen Peters, who once said that teacher appreciation makes the world of education go round. Ladies and gentlemen, let us celebrate the Nyeri teacher and the Kenya teacher who has remained true to his calling. It is, however, sad, Mr. Guest of Honor, that though today should be a day to celebrate, the Nyeri and the Kenya teacher is not able to celebrate because of a few or a number of reasons. The first one is that the Kenya and the Nyeri teacher would wish to celebrate but cannot do this because he finds himself groaning under the burden of overwork due to the biting teacher shortage in this country. The Kenya teacher wishes to smile but finds themselves sighing instead because they find themselves working so hard for so little, they are almost doing everything for nothing. We, the teachers of Nyeri and Kenya, wish to smile in the sun but find ourselves crying in the rain because the government has not agreed to pay us our allowances as per the 1997 negotiated paper. Today, the teachers of Kenya are sending a clear message to this government and to the government of Kenya that to bring back the smiles on the faces of our teachers, the government must remain committed to our return to work formula last year, which agreed to hire 22,000 ECD teachers. To make the Kenyan teacher laugh once again, 40,000 new teachers must be hired on permanent and pensionable terms. To bring back the celebration in the lives of teachers, the government must pay the teachers leave allowance like all other government employees and must also pay the correct allowances as per the 1997 agreement. We keep asking where on earth can a professional teacher get decent lodging for Kenya shillings 3,000. To avert a confrontation, this government must meet the teachers at their point of need, and no amount of intimidation will make them relent. These are our humble demands that must be fulfilled in this year's Kenya budget. May I now take this opportunity to welcome the county directors of both TSC and Education. We believe that the appointments will herald a new beginning for the new Nyeri teacher. Fortunately, in Kieni East, it is important for us to say this, that the relationship between the DEO, the teachers, has been very, very cordial. We know your roles are clear, and distinct and complementary, and we pray that you will work together towards the improvement of education in Nyeri County. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Madam DEO for obliging me and allowing me to speak, though I came late. I thank all of you too for being here, you that have joined us to join in the celebrations of this day. Finally, allow me to end by quoting one George Bernard Shaw, who once said that education is a succession of eye-openers, each involving the repudiation of some previously held belief. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our next secretary, Nyeri County, on Edward Mutai. Now, I have this to say to everybody, that it is a day for reflection by all of us who are gathered here. That is our children, our parents, our teachers, visitors, and also our chief guest. Now, we are here to reflect on our academic achievements for last year with a view of improving our overall education standards in this district, Kieni East district. Now, to the students and the pupils who are here, now, I have this for them, that we are all aware education is the most important vehicle for economic and social development for any country. Education promotes national unity, and it is an ingredient for national cohesion and integration, which promotes a peace and health coexistence of citizens. Education is a great engine for personal development. Education will transform the daughter of a pauper to a great president in this country. And therefore, without education, we are doomed. To students and the pupils, you are in schools for education and you don't have any other business to do there apart from that, because without education, then you have no future with you. Therefore, students and the pupils must decide what you want to be in the future. That is through education. In other words, education determines what you are going to be in a future. It is through education that the sky is the limit. Meaning, with education, you can become anything that you want. Now, to the parents who are here with us for this day, to the parents, those who are talking there, I would like you to know that you are the Alpha and Omega for our children that we have in our schools. Meaning, children come from you as a parent, and finally, they are going to come back to you as failures or as successors in education. And therefore, I am calling upon you to take care of the children while at home, and also make a follow-up when they are in schools. Don't just leave the business to the teachers only. You have a hand, when you are called upon, please avail yourself, talk about your child with the teacher, and you are going to find a way forward. Now, I'm requesting all those who are gathered here today to listen attentively to the wise ones from our today's speakers. We have already started, and we are going to have many others speaking to us, and therefore it is important that you are attentive, you listen to what they are saying. They are going to give us good ideas and good knowledge on how to go about our children, particularly our chief guests. Now, as we celebrate this day, I wish to announce that we improved last year in KCSE examination, that is that of Form 4, but we declined slightly in KCPE performance because of some reasons. However, our chief guests, we do not have any of our head teachers being rejected or chased away by the parents in this district. Neither did we have any examination irregularity in the district. That is a positive move, and we are happy about it. In KCSE, we had a mini score of 4.526, up from that of 4.341 in 2010, which gave a positive index of 0.183. In KCPE, we had a mini score of 260.769, down from that of 264.720 in 2010, which gave a negative index of 3.951. We tie the slight improvement in KCSE to a hard-working lot of teachers, support and cooperation of all stakeholders that I've mentioned and the others not mentioned. For the performance of KCPE, the district has continued to perform above average, but for some years, for the performance of KCPE, the district has continued to perform above average for some years, but for the last 2 years, the performance has been affected by the growth of soil ranch, settlement scheme schools, famine, and other related challenges. Education being a service sector, heavily relies on the support, encouragement, and steadfast input from all stakeholders in support of our good government. That is, all stakeholders, whatever we are doing here, the teachers, the partners, and the others, what we are doing, we are actually in support of our government to provide education to our learners in order to achieve the effort, goals, and then the universal education for every child in the country. On behalf of students, pupils, staff, District Education Board, and the entire education fraternity, I wish to register my appreciation to all those who have, in one way or another, supported us in our endeavor to improve education standards in this district. Now, given more support, I assure you, we shall reach greater heights as there is plenty of room for further improvement. Now, today, we are at a miniscore, or where we are today as a district education-wise, we are at a miniscore of 260 in KCPE, 4.5 in KCSE, and that alone tells us that we are far from 100%, but we are somewhere, and therefore the gap in between, there is a lot of room for improvement for all of us who are gathered here, children included. Finally, our chief guest, may I thank you most sincerely for accepting and finding time to be our guests on this important day. Thank you and welcome all of us gathered here. Thank you. Now, at this juncture, I'm going to call upon the father of education this district, our father, where when I have a problem, I run to, and under him, I feel quite secure. And this one is our district commissioner, Mr. Daniel Odabu, who is the DC as well as the district education board chairman. Otherwise, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Madam Dio, for that welcome. Our guest